Welcome to our half 0.2.2.0 episode.
Bonus! We got a bonus episode.
The morning after the Magnolia, we woke up and talked about some experiences that we had. But we noticed there was more to say after that recording that we did, so we wanted to give you a little bit of a debriefing on the Magnolia situation, and then we're going to roll into some
The recording we did that morning.
morning after footage.
Yeah.
Not footage, but you know.
But some shit happened after we did the recording, so we didn't talk about it. And it was like the heavy shit.
Now, if you are a Patreon supporter, you've heard this story probably twice now in a very manic way, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Take a listen to this morning after recording we did. Stay tuned to the end of the episode because more shit went down. It's pretty heavy.
It is 9:46, Thursday morning. The morning after.
You know, it's gotta be the morning after.
It's got to be the morning after.
'Cause I got lost in the night. I don't know words.
So we wanted to pop off a quick recording.
We actually started talking betwixt ourselves.
Yeah, I mean, literally, you walked out of the bedroom and it's like,
So here's my night. And we got about a couple minutes into our conversation, and Macy was just like, should we be recording this?
Yeah, before it just goes into the ether forever.
It's like, wait, let's do our jobs. Let's do what we came here to do.
So here's the thing. I was trying to hold it together, and the keyhole incident ruined all of the last... Because I was just feeling so bad.
Yeah.
It was everywhere. It was like oppressive, and I was like, no, I'm going to hold it together. This is probably just me being silly. And then that happened, and all of it was gone. That's when I was like, I'm just going to recluse myself and die a little bit.
I got super excited and gleeful, as I do when ghosty things happen, forgetting that I have a hellacious time getting to sleep. I just can't do it without at least laying there staring at the ceiling for 2 hours.
I couldn't last night.
So I knew at some point I was going to be the only one awake. And every time something creepy would happen and I would have that burst of like, hell yeah, I had to remember, you're about to be the only one awake in this house. And it kind of brought me back down to reality a little bit. But let's talk about the keyhole incident.
Okay.
So in the episode, I don't know where we're going to drop this, probably
the end.
After everything, yeah. We did talk about the layout of this house. We only have access to the top floor, but only like, what, a fourth of the top floor?
Yeah, because the rest is still under construction.
And you have a little doorway from our apartment here that enters into the rest of the... It's locked.
Yeah.
But it enters into the rest of the house, and it has one of those antique door knobs.
Yeah, with a keyhole.
So we went, of course, peeking through the keyhole last night.
And we did it yesterday.
Yeah.
And so,
that's what I meant yesterday.
Yeah, there's a lot of natural lighting that flows through. It's not far from windows. We see kind of down a corridor. It's kind of like the middle divider part of the part that we're in, and then there's rooms that branch off on either side. And looking through yesterday and this morning, it's just natural light.
Yeah,
you know, and
you can see a little chair.
Yeah, and there's street lights outside. Granted, they're kind of dim, so I mean, we will see that. But I'll let you take it from here because all of my resolve snapped, especially after Clark lost his composure, and then I was like, okay, I'm gonna literally die.
So in one of the stories we read last night, there was someone who was married in a similar situation to myself, was married to a hardcore skeptic, right? And then they had an experience themselves. And we were kind of talking, we were joking around about like, how smug would we be if something... And that happened a little bit with Clarky last night. We decide to go look through the keyhole again because we made a joke that, we're going to look into this later and the chair is going to be facing a different direction. Yeah. So Clark is the first one to look in and he just kind of backs away from it. And he goes, Charlie...
It was primal what happened to him. Like...
I'm trying to remember what he was just like, this is wrong.
Yeah.
That's what it was. It wasn't like, ooh, this is spooky. He was like, this is wrong. I was like, I mean, what are you talking about?
His eyes were watering.
And he's like, let's...
They were like...
I was like, let me see. You know, and Macy's already sitting on the couch like, no.
I was already shut down by that point. I was like, okay, every last shred of, no, I'm not going to be this way, just completely left by that point. Because I was already sitting there basically feeling like I was being stared at by a million things. And then that happened, and I was just like, oh, shit.
So I go and I look through the keyhole, and it is...
Blacker than black.
Blacker than black, man. There is a void there that is so dark that I told Macy that even when you're looking into a dark room, there's the suggestion of like bends of light and like shadow. You know what I mean? There's that emptiness that you can kind of, it's layered.
What got me was that what you said was what I was thinking.
And it was exactly.
And that's what freaked me out.
Like, what it felt like, the blackness was so dark and thick and like opaque, it felt like somebody had put their hand over it.
I can't, like the moment that Clarky said that he couldn't see it, or like it was, and then you were looking, I was just like, it's either I was like, there's a shadow person just there breathing on our door.
Yeah.
And then the moment that you said it's like somebody put their hand on
breathing
it,
on our
door. I was on the chaise lounge and I just got the pillow and I got the blanket.
You'd wrapped up like a burrito. I took a picture of you.
I just sat there and I didn't speak anymore. I didn't do anything. I was just like, I just have to get through this night.
It was strange because it wasn't a lot of the times there's a backup explanation, right? Like right now I woke up to something very spooky happening in my room. Throughout this place there are fake candles,
the little kinds that you switch on,
just decorative, I guess. And so you can't really, in a lot of hotels and a lot of places you stay, they don't want you lighting candles, so they've put these little battery operated ones, and there's some on the bedside table which have this entire stay and entire night not been on, and I wake up and the one on my nightstand is on and flickering.
Just flickering.
And I've yet to
And you have to switch them on.
Yeah, and I'm fixing to look at it really good and see if it's not like a every 12 hours it comes on, or if it comes on when it senses a certain amount of darkness in the room, even though it wasn't like that last night.
It wasn't on last night.
I just want to really look at it and see if there's another explanation. Because, so what I'm saying is sometimes when something spooky happens, in the back of your head, you're still like, but maybe something else is at play.
Yeah, that's the dream. It's better to do that. It's great.
And that's kind of what you were throwing us last night. Macy was throwing us every excuse that
I was trying to just keep my mental state together.
She was like, no. She's like, well, it's dark outside.
And I was like, the street lights here, they're kind of dim. They're not super bright. So it's probably not going to penetrate from the window all the way to like the little middle hallway. I was just like, no.
But even if we were to have turned all the lights off in this room,
that's exactly what I was thinking. I was like,
there would have been something. It would have been gray.
Yeah, we would get some light through here, and I knew that. And then I looked through the keyhole this morning when I woke up, and I saw how much natural lighting does flow through and is allowed to enter that hallway that you look into, and I was just like, fuck.
Yeah.
Fuck.
So there's that. And that's probably the most marked. And our guide here, our temperature is Clark.
Yeah. He's our litmus test kind of.
So a lot of things that have happened, we've kind of, and I personally last night was like, hey, what's this? And he's, it's XYZ. It's XYZ. Mm-hmm. So there were two things. There's the keyhole incident, which it's been a long time since I've seen him that riled up.
He said that was like the freakiest thing
he said that is the most questionable, I guess, experience that I've had here, and he goes, and maybe ever.
Yeah, I think it was because the instinctual being kicked in at that point.
That's what he's it was just like that caveman, like darkness
this
bad,
is wrong.
Something is not happening right. And the other thing that happened directly after that you had already shut down for, but me and Clark, like, I think we're both like, yeah, we're like adrenaline pumping together, so we're kind of feeding off of each other. But we told you we took pictures, and hopefully we've posted a big album and you guys have torn through them and found a million ghosties, but we got here and took some pictures of the outside.
I'm going to have to look at that this morning.
Yeah, I'm going to have to show you.
Very kindly, because I was like, not doing great. You were like, do you want to see that? And I was like, I'll do it in the morning.
Yeah, and I was trying to keep you in mind, and not be too this just happened, you know, and I was like, just make a note of it and we'll talk about it in the morning. However, I sent a picture because, you know, parents love it when you update them.
Oh, that you're alive.
That you're here, you know. So we, you know, they said, are you there? And we sent a couple of those pictures off. If you hear it stepping, it's Clarky. And my mom, she goes, hey, in that lower window, do you see a face? And I didn't know what window she was talking about because there's a million lower windows. So I was like, wait, what? So she zoomed in and circled it on her little iPhone and sent it back and was like, I'll fit this face. And at first it looked almost like a comical, like, to me, it was like a skeleton face. It was really kind of withered.
Yeah.
I was like, maybe it's Amelia because, you know, when we get older, we lose a lot of the plumpness in our face.
Yeah, you get a bit more gaunt.
Your features become a little more stamped out.
Well, and in that room, there's an obituary picture
with her.
And she looks very gaunt. Almost like, and I'm not trying to be...
She was super old.
Yeah, very old.
For that time?
I'm not trying to be like... It's because mainly the quality of the photo, almost like Nosferatu looking gaunt, you know, like very spooky and pale
and it's 12, that picture said.
And she was like 80.
And she's old as hell, you know, so kudos to her and bravo Amelia, and we mean no disrespect. However, you know, that's what made me think maybe it's her. So I went and I looked, and what got me and what got Clark did you see him when I showed him that photo?
Yes. He said, no, you know what he did? He said, let's get a hotel.
That's right.
And I was already in shambles. And when he said that,
that's right.
And part of me was like, yeah.
Let's do that. Yeah, and he did it in that very Clark way where he like said it, but like through a laugh.
Yeah.
You know, he's like, let's get a hotel, you know. What I noticed, and here, let me bring this up for you so you can see.
Yeah, let's do it now. I can handle it.
I noticed a curvature of the mouth.
Yeah, I remember you said that.
That you're just going to have to look at. Let me get these pics up. Hold on.
Yeah, that down.
So now you can have an actual
downturn of the mouth.
On the left side more so. Mm-hmm. You see that?
There is that mouth turn. It's the same.
I saw, and see, I didn't have them next to each other. I was kind of flipping back and forth.
That and the cheek hollow that curves down.
And saw that little downturn on the mouth in that same spot and was just like, oh. Okay, guys, these bells have been going off. Which I think is a very charming
that is odd.
An old
to say the least. I like that dual picture frame.
We do have some photos laying around, like of traveling salesman JJ, which we came to a horrifying realization after we recorded the podcast.
Yeah.
That the living room of this place and the room we've been recording and been hanging out the entire time was the room that the tragic taking of his own life happened in. Via
cutting his throat from ear to ear.
Yes. And there's a little corner where some antique luggage is, but also his actual bag.
His embroidered salesman bag that says JJ.
And a picture of him, and we did not realize it, and we had like put some snacks on the table.
Yeah, we apologized.
We immediately took those off and we were like, sorry, please help yourself to these snacks. We had some
soft peppermints on there, because we were like, that would be candy that they would relate to.
Back then,
like, take one, enjoy.
Yeah.
I saw you left one for Miss Amelia.
I did. I went and I put them in every little room, and I was like, "Have this peppermint." We won't eat them.
Well, and I want to talk
on purpose.
I want to talk about Miss Amelia. So, I think she's a good lady, and let me say why.
I mean, by all rights, nothing. She passed away peacefully in her sleep, which, at that time, at that age, to pass away peacefully in your sleep, that was the dream.
Yeah.
So, okay.
And so, last night, because I had the weird thing. To where, like everybody sometimes wakes up in the middle of the night, like hot, that's not what happened. Like I woke up at 3 a.m. Last night. So it felt like the inside of my body was a furnace and I was so hot and it was just inconsolably hot. There was nothing I could do. Because I wore clothes to bed last night. One, because we were sharing basically a corridor. Two, I was like, if I gotta hightail it out of here in the street, I'm gonna wear clothes. So,
and I think y'all know Macy enough to know that when she says she got hot last night,
it doesn't happen. And usually sometimes I will, and I'll just throw a cover off or something. Yeah. It's fine. But I woke up and it was just like this oppressive heat without looking at anything. I threw the cover off. And, you know.
Yeah, you didn't want to see someone standing there with like a heat lamp.
Yeah, a blow dryer. And like,
get out.
Yeah. And I was so hot. And so then, like, you know, stripped down and like kept doing that. And I was just down to the sheets and I could feel the ceiling fan, the cold air from the fan hitting the sheets. And it just, nothing was happening beyond that.
It's like there was a bubble of your own body heat.
Weird. And so finally, I just laid there and it started to subside after a little while. And I was just this bundle of nerves just sitting there and just sitting there and sitting there. But, you know, I'd say 3 or 4 times last night. Because I didn't really sleep last night. I would get kind of this weird, I would fall into this languid calm out of nowhere. And so I'd be worked up, and then it would just kind of, and it was a real weird feeling. My legs would kind of go numb, and like I was just kind of sitting there, and I'd calm down, you know, and I would have like this thing of no, but I felt like her,
right?
You know, like it was just somebody there being like, look, it's fine,
calm down.
You know.
Listen.
And then I would maybe doze off, and I would wake up terrified again, and I would lay awake for another hour. And it would kind of hit again, you know, and it would just kind of calm, this like little sleepy little, woo, calm down. And then finally I woke up at like 6 and there was daylight through the windows and that's all I need.
Yeah. When the daylight comes through, we're just brave again.
Yeah. I was like, I can handle this. I could do this at this point. But it was very strange. I'd say it happened 3 or 4 times that I would just be worked up and hearing shit tapping around and thinking about being right next to a fucking shadow person blocking a keyhole. And I would just sit there and I would be thinking of it and it would just go away.
Yeah.
Out of nowhere real quick. It was weird.
I woke up at about 2:30. So about 30 minutes before you woke up. I woke up and needed to go to the bathroom. Woke Clark up to have him take me because...
It's not attached to the bedroom.
You gotta walk through the house. And I'm pretty, like, brave with shit, but, like, being the only one up walking through the house.
Well, you gotta walk. There are mirrors, and then you gotta walk past the door.
Yeah, which is also kind of right outside the bedroom door.
Yeah.
I needed him to walk me to the bathroom, okay?
Fair.
Before we went to bed... I put the thermostat on it was 68.
Enough for me to actually slip into hypothermia.
Okay. I remember setting it and going like, we're going to like get it a little cooler in the house, just enough like the house to cool down. And then like I'll put it like on 72.
Macy's going to fight me in the morning.
Yeah, she's going to be upset. However, I ended up falling asleep and kind of forgetting that because it was just so cold and comfortable. And I don't want to say I'm relieved that you had this like hot experience.
Yeah.
However, when I woke up at 2:30 in the morning, it was freezing cold. It was freezing cold. And I got up, used the bathroom, came back, and I actually slept under the covers, which I usually don't sleep under. And I know this is strange. I usually don't sleep under like the duvet or like the quilt of a hotel or something like that. It's this weird mental block that I have.
Yeah.
I can't explain it to you, but like it made me go, fuck it, and get under and like sleep in the sheets.
You know what's weird? You know what it felt like? It felt like the bed. It felt like the bed itself.
We find out it's just got like a heated cover on it.
Amelia put in like one of those like charcoal things that were...
Oh, those feet things? Yeah.
That's what it felt like because like I would stick my hand out and even like it was... I just can't explain it because even under the thin, nice breezy sheets, I was 1,000,000,000 degrees. And if I pulled the sheet off... It was okay, but if I like even put the sheet over like my leg, that leg down was an oven. It was so weird. It was like the bed itself was 1,000 degrees, and I don't really know what to make of that. But it was I've not woken up that hot maybe ever. It was just oppressive. Like, I didn't get up out of that bed all night long.
Oh, you know, we also did a couple of those overnight recordings, and I did kind of drag and drop to the middle of it. But I am telling you, I heard murmurs.
Okay.
So
that's the one thing that because I was in a dream state that I just can't commit to saying I heard.
Yeah.
But I swear.
There's been several times, and I even woke up this morning when you were probably awake but not yet stirring. I just kind of flicked my eyes open and you hear it, right?
Yeah. Yeah. No, I've been hearing it. And
I've been hearing it since last night.
I know. And it was not a dog barking.
Yeah.
I was just shitting all over you.
Did you?
Yes.
Well, did we actually capture any of that? Because last night we were sitting
No, we
here.
had just exported the file.
Yeah, we had just wrapped up, and there was this noise from behind us, which is a window. And as we said, people were getting out of Wednesday church. By this time, it was real late.
Yeah.
We looked, I was like, I made Macy look out of the window, but we heard what sounded to me like garbled.
That's all I could think.
What?
He cut his throat.
Oh, shit.
And that's why I was like, no.
I just got the worst chills.
That's why I was like, no, you didn't hear anything. You didn't hear anything.
I was wondering why you were so adamantly. I was like, just go with me on this.
No, I was like, I'll deal with this in the morning and I'll apologize. But like, I can't even, because it's what I heard.
It was not words.
No.
It was just kind of a.
Yeah, and it's just, and I heard you talking, and it came from, to me, like right here, and maybe in the hallway.
Right.
It was hard to tell, and it was.
It was hard to tell. Yeah,
and it's just.
I
like,
hate that you're doing.
And
that.
It's all I could hear, and I was just like, he cut his throat.
Yeah,
and I can't.
And it was weirdly omnidirectional.
It came from everywhere.
Yeah.
It was like kind of came here and came from there. Kind of came from the hallway, but it came from everywhere, and it was super minor.
Okay, right. My whole skin is crawling.
No,
off.
I'm shedding many tears. So no, I apologize for being kind of an asshole last night, but I was like, I'm just gonna have to get through this night, and then we can discuss.
And we can talk about it.
But I can't. I haven't felt dread and just existential fear like that in a very long time.
And we did also, and I was going to say nothing that happened that we know of, at least in this area, was too bad. And we kept making a deal of that. And I keep thinking that, but then I remember that we read in the little pamphlet.
Oh yeah, somebody got murdered in y'all's room?
Yeah, that somebody got in a fight, and I guess we're just in the heat of the moment murdered. Mm-hmm. That being said, I feel like that entity, that part of it, didn't ever really step forward.
The only presence I feel is this guy.
Yeah.
And I have felt him.
Well, I mean,
and maybe her, because last night, but like, he is what's been making me so uncomfortable. That was my stomach.
Okay. Because that's where you heard it. That's where my brain, okay.
Yeah. And I mean, and like I said, not in a bad way.
Yeah.
But an active way.
Yeah.
And I don't know, dude. You know how I always say when I start feeling things, I just shut my heart chakra down? Mm-hmm. It's what I had to do last night. And I just shut off and became mechanical until I could handle it again. One
thing I will say about this place, you guys, if you're thinking about coming in, and this is my thing, this place, so clean.
Very clean.
So clean.
I mean, like, not even a damn cobweb. Like,
and I hyper focus on that kind of stuff. Yeah. And I'll find like a spot. I will hyper focus in on like little tiny things. I can't even do that.
No. It's immaculately clean. I mean, even like all of the old mirrors and everything is just very sparkly and clean. And a very cozy stay. Like,
it smells very nice, which I was not expecting. I thought it was going to have
kind of that musty,
that old building.
No, they've done a really great job, and it is very cozy.
Yeah,
you know? Like there's the nice little.
I was thinking last night. I was like, I could like curl up and like hang out and watch TV and like
just kind of cozy up.
If it wasn't for all of the ghosts trying to scratch me.
What was so funny because you were like talking, and you were like, I could live here. And then like 15 minutes later, you were like, you went on a spell, and I watched you, and it was about a minute long, and literally every stimuli around you was a ghost. Yeah. You stood up, you heard something, and you looked up, and then you looked in the mirror, and you looked that way, it was. And then you heard the door, and you looked that way.
Do you remember what kicked it off? Hearing Mr. Traveling Salesman JJ
Yeah.
garble something out of his throat. Set me on a path.
Yeah, but it was hilarious because it sent you, and I think I told you, I was like, you're in a loop.
Like, you did, yeah, you were like, you're looping.
You're looping. Because you did, and like, because that unnerved me, and then you like walked, you heard something that way, and then you like looked in the mirror.
I was very meerkat.
And yeah, you were, and then you looked at the door, and I was like, okay.
Stop it.
Because I was already, I knew that happened, and I was like, I will corroborate you on that. Not now, but later. But everything else,
happening.
Well, and like all I could picture, dude, all I could picture, and it was all I could picture when I was sitting there, and all I could picture in the middle of the goddamn night, because I brought the four thieves and like kind of that protection tonic and whatnot. And we sprayed down, and eventually I handed it to you, and I said, spray the door.
You were like, get the door.
All I could picture was just all of them right by that door, and they wanted to come in, and they couldn't.
Yeah.
And and
yeah, you gave me the solution, the tonic that you made, and I sprayed it down, and I remember saying, don't try to attach. Basically, it was like, you cannot cross this point.
Yeah.
Kind of for tonight.
Yeah. We'll deal with the ones that are in this portion.
I had a we'll deal with these three because they seem kind of dope. They're cool.
Yeah, they're all right.
They're chill. But it was just like, I'm not permanently fixing you anywhere, but tonight, goddammit, stay away.
Yeah.
So, I can.
And that's why I gave it to you. I was like, you're going to have the resolve to do this. I'm going to go over there with my broken resolve, and they're going to be like, this bitch. And just like waltz right in.
And it was a very matter-of-fact moment because I saw how freaked out you were. And I think, as much as we like to dig at each other, we do kind of like... If somebody, it's like we can make fun of each other, but as soon as somebody else does
it's like,
you're like, no. That made me feel better. But now that you're saying that imagery of them all like at the threshold,
it's all I could. Dude, it's like
awful.
It's what I could feel, and I was just sitting there, and I was just like, oh, they want to come in here. They want to come in here, like, and
they're here now.
Yeah, especially when something literally was blocking the keyhole.
That was interesting.
That's what set me on my spiral. That's been our stay at Magnolia Hotel. Come book it when you can.
Yeah.
Every now and again, it's like there's cancellations.
Yeah.
Because I saw
a few more dates opened up.
Yeah. And so, I was looking at their Facebook page, and they're like, oh, 2 dates now in October are available. So it looks like, people have... which is kind of the thing, when you see something that's booked up for 2 years, you're like, all right, we'll just grab the dates, and then something comes up. And
then you're like, well, instead of this date, I'll do, whatever.
Yeah, and so it looks like, maybe keep an eye on it. I really cannot recommend this place enough. It has been great. It's just spooky as fuck.
If you are a little more, if you do have a stronger resolve like we do to these kind of things, there are people who will refuse to do it.
Yeah.
But, you're probably going to get a little spooked. You're probably going to get a little spooked.
I got the most spooked I've ever been.
Really? Yeah. I got pretty close to it. Lately I've been starting to feel that thing where like investigators feel a little bummed out because they're like, am I starting to not believe in this because like real shit hasn't happened in a while.
This like I hit the point where I was like, y'all know we're here.
Yeah.
And I could feel all of them.
I think that's why I got giddy, Yeah. But let's roll into some EVPs and let's get that going.
Yeah, and we'll hit the road.
We have the spray bottle incident.
We've talked about it before. There's a protection tonic I make out of Four Thieves and a bunch of other goodies, just with the intent not of banishing, but of just basically being like the baddies, stay away. We've used it for the past few spooky-sodes now, and so took it this time. And I was so fucking done by this point, and I wanted to leave, and I had all of the bad feelings, and I just wanted to go home. We busted out the spray.
Yeah. As like we were going to spray ourselves right before we left.
Yeah.
To get anything off of us.
Well, and night before.
Yeah.
So night before we busted it out, and I was like, spray that fucking door down, because fuck that door. I hate that door.
We did a really nice little warding session.
Yeah, you did, because I was just sitting there just wanting to leave. So you did.
And we've talked about how we felt that door, that we set this ward up, and we sprayed the door down and everything that we needed to do, and we felt like
they were just there breathing on it.
They were just there, and they couldn't get past it because it was a tight job. It's a banging ass spray. We did good. But that doesn't mean that they couldn't get right up to it.
Yeah, I hate it. And so we sprayed ourselves down. And towards the end, so Clarky was spraying Charlye, I believe. Mm-hmm. And the bottle started to kind of act up a little bit.
Yeah.
And he just said like, oh, fuck, I think I broke it,
I noticed when he was spraying me that it went from like a gentle mist to like a stream.
Yeah.
And then just stopped.
So this is one of those bottles that... if you untwist it, it makes a big, fine, nice mist, which is how I keep it because I like a good mist. Mm-hmm. And if you tighten it, eventually it stops spraying it on. It locks the handle, but it'll turn into a jet. And so it was on a mist, and then it started fucking up like that. So fast forward to the next morning,
right,
where I'm packing up. I see my bottle on the table. I'm like, oh, gotta pack you. You're important. And I go to grab it, and I just grabbed it by the handle. And then the handle, I realized, was locked.
Right.
It did not flex. It did not spray. And so I sat there, and I kept, like, tapping my fingers trying to get it to close. And then, like, realization started to set in very quickly.
And you said, did you close this?
I looked at Clark, and I was like, Clark, did you do this? And he kind of looked at me. And by this point, even Malarkey was like...
Yeah. He was getting and he goes, no, remember I said last night that I thought that
it was acting up. And then you stormed out of the bedroom, and you were like, are you talking about what I think you're talking about?
So at this point, we just figured out that this bottle has been purposely... Tampered with. And... Clarky kind of gave his, like, okay, let's go. And, of course, Macy's, like, out the fucking
I've been
door.
wanting to leave since 8 p.m. the night before.
You know, and we had everything packed up, and we had basically had our bags already on us.
It was like a last final miscellaneous walkthrough.
Yeah.
And I saw the spray, and I was like, oh, let's grab up and all that shit.
So we had everything in our hands, and after we were talking about the spray closing, Macy said something along the lines of...
It didn't want us using it.
Yeah, she said something didn't want us to use this spray. And right after she said it, 2 inches from me, that fucking door that we looked through the keyhole that we could fill this weird presence at all night, it's one of those antique-ass doorknobs.
Those heavy ones that make a lot of noise.
Heavy. It distinctively, purposefully, and clearly... like knocked around a couple of times.
It makes me want to vomit.
And it was not like a pop that the house did, like to settle. It was a back and forth jiggle of an old ass fucking heavy doorknob. And Macy and I remember that this is like beyond scared because, or not beyond scared, but beyond where something would happen and everybody, and you run out and you're like, oh no, what was that? We were like so beyond that at this point. We just looked at each other and we were like,
time to go.
And I felt like we fairly calmly just like turned on our heels.
By that point, that place had kind of broken us down.
And walked out.
Yeah. And it was checkout time.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
So
we had to go.
And let's go.
So let's go. And I remember as soon as we left, because it was on the second story, and you had to travel up some stairs to get there, but there was a little landing outside of the front door. We stood there and actually talked and recorded a little video. And
being outside of the room was really all
Once we left, it was like, okay, we're fine. But we just wanted to update you guys on...
Because, yeah, that happened after we did the morning recording.
So if you are interested, again, this is not sponsored in any way by the Magnolia Hotel, but if you are interested in a hotel that has actually really produced some...
Serious activity.
Yeah.
Serious activity.
That we have not experienced in...
Ever, for me.
A long time.
Not, especially listening to those night recordings where it sounds like somebody's just traipsing through the entire apartment and yowling.
You can hear, and of course it was kind of cut out and I put all the doors together.
Oh, God,
but through the course of the night, there's just doors opening and it's not us. And there's also, once the audio was cleaned up, I mean, as much as I have
like
the ability
a
to
weird
do,
parlor sound
you
going
hear,
on, just like people talking,
chattering, and like almost at some points, almost like a lilty musical.
Yeah,
kind
I
of.
almost heard like glasses clinking.
You know what? That's exactly. I came in and I said, Clark, listen to this. I said, does this not sound like the background track of like a restaurant?
Yep.
It sounds like a fucking restaurant.
It's bizarre.
And it wasn't malicious at that point
at
all. It was like some people were chilling and having a party, you know. But to hear it when you were sleeping in that space overnight, it's
very uncomfortable.
I've been my faith in this has been completely renewed.
Yeah,
you know, because I've never lost faith in it. It's just I was getting kind of antsy with it. And I was like, come on, something happened. I was getting a little Zach Bagans-y on it. And then it happened, and I'm like, oh, well, let's calm down with that.
Yeah.
But don't worry, guys. We always take a lot of precaution. We always protect ourselves and each other, and we don't take this lightly. We're not fucking about with it. So we're all good. We're okay. Don't worry.
But we're glad it's over.
And we wanted to scare you with it. So
I hope you scared.
Hope you scared. We'll catch you next time.
That's it.
We'll catch you Wednesday.
Yeah, see you soon.
See you soon. Not long at all. We're going to talk about some silky, what was it? Silky walnut.
Silky walnut. Satin walnut.
Satin, velvet walnut.
Velvet walnut.
Creamy walnut. We do. Ow, my toe broke off.